A man does not remember a woman because of every single word she says. He remembers the emotions, the moments, and the feelings that stay with him long after she is gone. Let that idea sit with you for a moment, because somewhere along the way, many people learned the wrong lesson about attraction. They were told that to capture his attention, to make him stay interested, to create a powerful connection, you have to constantly perform. You have to be more beautiful, more available, more entertaining, more perfect. You have to chase his attention. You have to prove your value. You have to convince him that you are worth choosing. But what if the truth is completely different? What if the women who leave the strongest impressions are not the ones trying the hardest? They are not moving from fear. They are not acting from insecurity. They are simply present. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence that does not ask for permission to exist. And if you have ever felt like you were giving your best, showing your care, doing everything you could, but still receiving less than you deserved, then this next part may completely change the way you understand connection. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a busy city street. There are sounds everywhere, cars passing, people rushing, everyone trying to be seen, everyone fighting for attention. Then suddenly you stop, you breathe, you become still. In that moment of calm, something changes. It is like lighting a small candle in a room full of noise. That peaceful energy becomes the thing people notice. Because real attraction is not created by trying to be the loudest person in the room. It comes from the way your presence feels. The truth is, people are drawn to energy before they understand why. It is not only about appearance, words, or perfect timing. It is about the feeling someone leaves behind. It is in the way you walk into a room without needing everyone to approve of you. It is in the way you speak without rushing to prove your point. It is in the way you can enjoy your own company without constantly searching for validation. Deep connection is created when someone feels something different around you. You are not just another notification on his phone. You are not just another conversation that disappears after a few days. You become a memory. You become a feeling he cannot easily explain. You do not need to create a fake version of yourself to become unforgettable. You only need to stop covering the parts of you that already make you special. Many people make the mistake of thinking attraction works like a checklist. They think if they send the perfect message, respond at the perfect moment, or say the perfect thing, they can create a lasting bond. But emotions do not work that way. A person does not fall deeply because of a calculated response or a carefully planned action. They remember how they felt when they were with you. They remember the comfort. They remember the peace. They remember the moments when they felt truly understood. That is why trying too hard often creates the opposite effect. The more you chase approval, the more you hide your natural power. The strongest presence is often the one that does not beg to be noticed. If you want to become someone he thinks about when he is starting his day, when he is driving, when he is working, or when he is alone with his thoughts, stop focusing only on how to impress him. Start focusing on what emotional experience you create. Leave him with something meaningful. Leave him with warmth. Leave him with a moment that feels different from everything else. Because this is not about getting everyone to like you. It is about becoming someone who is genuinely unforgettable. It is not about changing your style, your voice, your personality, or pretending to be someone else. It is about understanding the power of your own presence. Your words can carry comfort. Your silence can carry confidence. Your kindness can feel like a safe place. Sometimes the smallest moments create the strongest memories. A simple look, a genuine smile, a thoughtful sentence at the right time. These things can stay in someone's mind longer than you realize. The world is full of people trying to be impressive, but very few people know how to be deeply present, and presence is powerful. It creates curiosity, it creates emotional connection, it creates a feeling that is difficult to forget. Stay with me, because the next part reveals the deeper reason why some women leave a lasting impact without chasing, without forcing, and without trying to become someone they are not. Today, we are not talking about simple texting tricks, temporary attention, or small techniques designed to create a reaction. We are talking about something much deeper. We are talking about the emotional imprint you leave behind when someone experiences your true self. The most memorable people are not always the ones who do the most. They are often the ones who make others feel something real. They bring calm into chaos. They bring honesty into a world full of pretending. They create a space where someone feels accepted, respected, and understood. That kind of connection cannot be copied because it comes from authenticity. When you stop trying to control how someone sees you, you become more natural. When you stop chasing every sign of approval, you become more confident. When you stop hiding your true personality, you allow people to connect with the real you. And that is the part people remember, not the perfect words, not the perfect image, not the performance. They remember the feeling of being around someone who was comfortable with who they were. That is the kind of energy that stays. That is the kind of presence that creates a lasting impression. So remember this: you do not have to become louder to be noticed. You do not have to become someone else to be valued. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply stand in your own confidence and allow your true energy to speak. When you understand how emotional memories are created, when you learn the power of tone, timing, and genuine presence, you stop running after attention. You stop trying to convince someone to notice you. Instead, you begin to carry a kind of confidence that people naturally feel. And no, this is not about controlling someone or playing games. This is about awareness. This is about understanding human emotions. This is about the quiet power of being someone who leaves a meaningful impression. Throughout history, the most unforgettable people were not remembered because they chased approval. They were remembered because they carried themselves with a unique energy. They had a presence that could not be ignored. So stay with me, because in the next few moments, you are going to discover 3 powerful phrases. Not phrases designed to manipulate someone, but words that can create a deeper emotional connection. Words that can make him feel that you are not just another person he had a conversation with. You become a moment, a memory, a feeling that returns even days later. So take a breath, sit comfortably. Let this message reach a deeper place. Here is something many people overlook. A man may forget certain details. He may forget the exact conversation you had. He may forget what you were wearing or what was happening around you. But one thing stays powerful in the mind: how someone made him feel. That is the first truth. People are not only attracted to appearances, they are drawn to the emotional experience they have with someone. You are not competing with every attractive person in the world. You stand apart when you become the person who creates a feeling that is difficult to replace. Have you ever heard a song that was not the loudest, did not have the biggest sound, and did not immediately grab your attention, but somehow hours later you found yourself remembering it? That is the power of emotional impact. It does not force itself into your mind. It quietly stays there. It creates a connection without demanding attention. Many people try to become the loudest voice. They try to send more messages, show more, prove more, and constantly create reactions. They believe more effort always creates more attraction. But louder does not always mean stronger. Sometimes the things that make the biggest impact are the things that feel natural and sincere. This is why many people become exhausted after constantly giving, constantly trying, and constantly wondering, why was I still not enough? The reason is often because they were trying to communicate through explanation, while the other person was responding through emotion. Feelings do not connect with pressure. Feelings connect with authenticity. When your words come from fear, people can sense the tension behind them. When your words come from confidence, people feel comfort. When you speak from insecurity, it can create pressure. But when you speak from a place of inner calm, people feel relaxed, curious, and naturally interested. Have you ever met someone and walked away thinking, I cannot explain it, but there was something different about them? That something was not only their appearance, it was the feeling they carried. It was the way they made the moment feel. So ask yourself honestly, are your words coming from peace or from fear? Are you trying to create a real connection, or are you trying to convince someone to choose you? Are you showing up as a complete person, or are you secretly waiting for someone else to prove your value? People rarely remember those who constantly ask to be understood. They remember those who are comfortable enough to let their actions, their energy, and even their silence speak. They remember those who do not need to explain every detail about themselves. They remember the person who allowed curiosity to grow naturally. Sometimes silence is not emptiness. Sometimes silence is confidence. It creates space. It creates mystery. It allows another person to wonder and feel. There is a difference between creating noise and creating impact. In connection, too much noise can sometimes hide the real person behind it. A bright flash may capture attention for a second, but a steady flame creates warmth that lasts. So from this moment forward, stop trying so hard to be heard. Focus on becoming someone who can be felt. Do not rush to fill every quiet moment. Allow your presence to speak. Do not constantly prove your worth. Live from the understanding that your worth already exists. Do not explain why you matter. Stand confidently in who you are. If you are wondering, what can I actually say that creates this kind of feeling, then listen carefully. This is not about saying something perfect. It is about creating a meaningful moment. It is about using words that feel natural, confident, and memorable. There is a phrase that does not chase. It does not ask for approval. It creates curiosity and leaves room for imagination. When said at the right moment with the right energy, it can stay in someone's mind long after the conversation ends. Imagine saying this softly, with confidence. You and me, that could be something unexpected. Let that idea settle for a moment. This is not about using a clever line or trying to create a reaction. It is about creating a feeling. It suggests possibility. It creates a small spark of curiosity. It gives the imagination something to explore. When you say something like this, you are not asking someone to choose you. You are not trying to prove that you are special. You are simply opening a door to a possibility. You are allowing a moment of connection to exist. The power is not only in the words themselves, the power is in the calm energy behind them. A sentence spoken with confidence can feel completely different from the same sentence spoken from insecurity. Remember, people often forget exact words, but they remember emotions. They remember how a person made them feel in a certain moment. And that is where true connection begins, not from chasing, not from forcing, but from showing up with confidence, warmth, and authenticity. Stay with me, because the next part will reveal more about the kind of words and energy that create a lasting emotional impression without needing to try so hard. And here is what makes this so powerful. You do not say it from a place of needing approval. You say it with confidence and playfulness. You bring it into a normal conversation about something simple, maybe music, a favorite meal, a place you want to visit, or a random funny moment. Then you let the words appear naturally, almost like they escaped before you had time to think. You do not rush to explain what you meant. You do not add extra words to make him understand. You pause, you smile, you allow the moment to breathe, because that quiet space after the words is where the feeling grows. If you are thinking, wouldn't that be too confident? Understand this. Confidence only feels uncomfortable when it comes from desperation. But when it comes from calmness, humor, and self-assurance, it feels attractive. People are not drawn to someone who forces their interest. They are drawn to someone who creates curiosity, someone who gives a glimpse of something deeper and then allows the other person to discover it. It is not only about what you say, it is about what those words create inside his imagination, the meaning he gives them, the feeling they leave behind. And now we are going to explore another phrase, one that does not push for attention, but quietly stays in the mind, one that turns the moment into something he remembers. Say it softly, almost like you are surprised by your own honesty. You have a way of distracting me, and you probably do not even realize it. Think about that for a moment. It is not loud. It is not a direct confession, but it creates a question in his mind. It makes him reflect. It makes him wonder, what did I do that had this effect? The power comes from the fact that you are sharing a feeling without explaining every detail. You are not saying, I really like you. You are saying, there is something about you that affects me, but I am allowing you to discover what that is. That small space between what is said and what is left unsaid creates curiosity. It is like looking at a reflection through a slightly covered mirror. You can see something, but you want to understand more. That curiosity naturally pulls attention. The human mind is attracted to things it wants to explore. That is why mystery can create a stronger memory than constant explanation. So do not become the person who explains every emotion before it has a chance to be felt. Do not give every answer before someone has the desire to ask the question. Become the moment, become the feeling, become the memory that returns because it felt different. Sometimes the most powerful connection is created not by saying more, but by knowing exactly what to say and then allowing the moment to exist. Say it with a soft smile after a genuine laugh. Let it feel natural. Do not look for immediate confirmation. Do not wait anxiously for a reaction. Simply allow the words to stay in the air, because when someone speaks from emotion instead of trying to prove their value, their energy changes. They are no longer asking to be chosen. They are showing up as someone who already knows their worth, and that is what creates a lasting impression. It is not because you said too many things, it is because you created one meaningful moment that felt real. Now we need to talk about something just as important as the words themselves, timing, because even the right words can lose their power when they arrive at the wrong moment. Stay with me, because this part changes everything. Timing is one of the most overlooked parts of attraction. Connection has a natural rhythm. There are moments when emotions are open and moments when they are not. The same sentence can create warmth at the right time and feel uncomfortable at the wrong time. Let that sink in. You can have the perfect words, the calmest voice, and the strongest confidence, but if the moment is not ready, the message will not reach deeply. Say something meaningful too soon, and it may feel like pressure. Wait forever, and the opportunity may disappear. This is why attraction is not only about communication, it is about awareness. It is about understanding the pace of a moment. Imagine standing in a completely dark room. Everything is quiet. Then you strike a small match. That tiny flame becomes noticeable because the darkness created the space for it to shine. If you light it too early, before anyone can see, the impact is lost. But if you wait for the right second, that small flame can change the entire room. That is the power of timing. Many people speak from anxiety. They rush to fill every silence. They send messages because they feel uncertain. They reveal deep emotions during moments when the other person is distracted or distant because they are trying to create a connection that is not naturally there yet. But emotional intelligence means knowing not only what to say, but when the moment can actually receive it. You do not say something deeply playful when there is no emotional connection happening. You do not force a meaningful statement into a cold or empty conversation. You wait for the natural signs. The laughter, the comfort, the eye contact, the shared energy, that is when your words have room to land. Think about a moment where the conversation feels effortless. He is smiling. You are both relaxed. There is a small pause where neither person feels the need to rush. That pause can hold more meaning than 100 messages. That is when a simple sentence can become memorable. You might lean in slightly and say, "You and me, that could be something unexpected." Then you stop. No extra explanation, no nervous talking to fill the space. Just confidence, just calm. Silence does not always mean something is missing. Sometimes silence is where emotion becomes stronger. But remember, the power is not in the phrase alone. The power comes from the feeling behind it. If you say these words because you are afraid of losing someone, they will carry that fear. If you say them because you are comfortable, they will carry that confidence. The magic is not in the sentence. The magic is in the moment. Connection is not something you force every second. It is something you notice and respond to. It is like a dance. Sometimes you move closer, sometimes you allow space, sometimes you step forward, sometimes you simply enjoy the rhythm. Emotional awareness is understanding when the other person is open to receiving what you offer. And now we are going even deeper because it is not only about what someone hears, it is about what they feel underneath your words. That is where your real influence comes from. Your words are only the surface. The emotion behind them is what creates the memory. What you say can be forgotten, but what you truly communicate through your energy can stay much longer. Many people speak only with information. They explain, clarify, repeat, and try to make sure every message is understood. But the people who create the strongest emotional impact often communicate something deeper. They are not just sending words, they are sharing a feeling. Here is something important to understand. People rarely remember every detail of a long conversation. They remember moments. They remember a look. They remember a pause. They remember a sentence that touched something inside them. They remember the feeling of being around someone who felt different. That is because emotions create stronger memories than simple facts. Many people talk too much because they are trying to control how they are perceived. They explain their intentions. They adjust their words. They search for the perfect response, but someone with a strong emotional presence does not constantly explain who they are. They simply show it. They do not force a feeling. They create space for one to develop. True attraction is not only found in what is spoken, it exists in the meaning beneath the words. It exists in confidence, calmness, and authenticity. And that is where the next powerful idea begins. A sentence that is not only emotional but creates a complete picture in someone's mind. Say this slowly and with confidence. If I kissed you right now, I know you would not be able to stop me. Now pause and think about why this feels different. That line is not a question. It is not asking for permission or searching for approval. It is a confident statement, a playful challenge, a moment that creates imagination. It changes the usual pattern because you are not asking him to make the first move. You are not trying to convince him to want you. You are simply expressing a feeling with certainty. But remember, the power is not only in the words, the power is in how you deliver them. This will not have the same effect if you say it while feeling nervous or unsure. If your voice becomes shaky, if your eyes immediately search for his reaction, the confidence disappears. A powerful moment needs inner belief behind it. Your voice should feel soft but steady. Your energy should feel playful but relaxed. Your eye contact should be comfortable, not intense or forced. Say it like the thought naturally appeared, but you are completely comfortable with what you said. The strongest words are the ones that match the energy behind them. This is not about creating a performance. It is about expressing yourself from a place of confidence. Some words become powerful because they create a feeling, an image, a possibility. This kind of sentence does exactly that. It allows the imagination to become part of the conversation. It creates a moment that can stay in someone's mind. And after you say it, do not rush to explain. Do not laugh nervously and take the meaning away. Do not immediately say you were joking. Let the silence exist. Let the moment breathe. Because sometimes the quiet after the words creates more impact than the words themselves. That is where curiosity grows. That is where someone begins to think about the feeling behind what was said. The thing he remembers is not only the sentence. He remembers the confidence in your voice. He remembers your expression. He remembers the calm energy you carried in that moment. He remembers that you were not trying to force anything. You were simply present. This is why saying more does not always make someone more interesting. Sometimes fewer words carry more weight when they come from the right place. Do not try to impress someone with endless explanations. Create emotion. Create a feeling. Let your presence communicate before your words even begin. And now we are moving toward the most important part, because your strongest quality is not the perfect phrase. It is the energy you bring before you speak. A person with powerful presence does not talk just to receive attention. They communicate in a way that leaves an impression. You do not need to become the loudest person in the room to be noticed. The people who stay in someone's memory are often the ones who bring a different feeling into the space. They do not compete with every voice around them. They create calm in the middle of noise. We live in a world full of constant messages, opinions, notifications, and distractions. Everyone is trying to be seen, everyone is trying to stand out, but the person who can remain grounded without fighting for attention often becomes the most memorable. Real confidence does not need to perform. It does not need to prove itself every second. It is comfortable. It takes up space naturally. It speaks clearly without needing to become louder. That is emotional presence. Think about calm water. When the surface is still, it reflects everything clearly. But when the water is constantly moving, the reflection becomes unclear. Your energy works the same way. Calmness creates clarity. A grounded person creates a feeling of safety and confidence. This is the kind of energy people notice even when they cannot explain why. It creates that thought. There is something different about this person. And here is something many people forget. Your energy starts communicating before your voice does. Before you say a single word, people notice how you enter a room. Do you move with uncertainty, rushing to prove yourself? Or do you move with calm confidence, comfortable with who you are?